Hello and welcome. We're back for some more historic Pauper today. We're playing part of Season 3 of The Ladder, which is a one match per week event. I'm back on Dimir Snowball with a few changes from Historic Horizons. You'll notice that we now have Davriel's Withering, which at 1 mana less than Moment of Craving is an improvement, and you also don't get blown out by pump spells because the Perpetual means that this effect sticks around on the creature. Also, we've got the one, the only Muldrifter, who has been breaking hearts in normal classic Pauper for quite a while. I used to play this lovable fish quite a lot in Cloudpost about 10 years ago. But unfortunately, Cloudpost has since been banned. So, we've got some other stuff in the sideboard. You'll notice that most of the deck is about the same. The main differences are I was able to cut a couple Ragers, cut one Secrets. Those are the most major differences. From the sideboard, I'm boarding against what I'm scared of. Mostly what I'm scared of, as you can see, from 3 Libations and 1 Innocent Blood, I'm scared of Hexproof. Just frankly, it's going to be one of the most difficult to deal with decks once it gets going. I also have Relics. I am very respectful of the graveyard right now. I know there's some dedicated graveyard decks running around, in addition to decks like Omens, which play heavily off their graveyard. So that combination is where I want to be. Sorry about that. And then I've got a mix of kind of anti-control cards, not including the Innocent Blood. And maybe I shouldn't be playing those. Maybe I am the most control-y deck on the block, but I really like having Duress, Negate, Memory Leaks against decks like Serpentine Curve. So let's jump right into it and see what my opponent's playing. Okay, and we are back and we've got Option, and we'll be on the play. And this looks like a decent hand. We obviously need to hit our 3rd land to get everything going, but we've got Withering on turn 2, which is everything we could want. Should stall any early aggression. Our opponent is also on blue-black of some variety. I know that Endless Number was talking about this in Discord. Okay, so we brick. That's a little bit rough, but that's how she goes. Depending on exactly what this list is, unless this list is very similar to our own, it's unlikely that this will be much of a challenge, as this deck was originally created to fight decks that play blue and black lands. Okay, let's see. So we want a land if we can find it. Bajuka Bog is... I'd actually rather not... Do I shuffle the deck? I don't shuffle deck, so it's every single Seagate Oracle. I'm trying to figure it out, because I do want to draw a certain number of Bajuka Bogs, but now might not be the time. I think I'm going to save my Bajuka Bog, just because Withering is not that interesting. Alright. So my opponent is doing this. Interesting, okay. Sure. I'm going to Withering this just to even the playing field a little bit, use my mana. I want to wait on the Lampad, I think. It's 5 cards, just because Lampad gives like some decent like chip shot value. And we're pretty okay in this situation, because I can Withering something if I really need to, but I don't know, this is an interesting finisher. It's a good idea, theoretically. I feel like my opponent has to be doing something with those cards. Why is my opponent stopping? My opponent's stopping to Moment of Craving my thing on my turn. Yeah, it's decent play. Okay, so we're just going to probably play Drifter here and see if my opponent plays counterspells in their deck. My opponent may or may not, we don't know. My opponent's killing that, that's fine. Great, so we'll play this so that we can recover stuff, not attack. It's almost like we're the control deck temporarily. So my opponent's playing white too, so my opponent's playing Esper. Interesting. The plot thickens. I think what I'm going to do is, how many am I on? I'm on 6, 7, 8. I think I should just draw 2 cards and then reset it is probably the best move. Let's see. So I want Lampad. And I think I actually want to wait a turn before resetting. I'm going to have to... I'm not going to have to discard at the end of my turn, so I'll just pass. And we're good. So let's see what my opponent's doing with white mana. Okay, my opponent's playing Soul of Migration too. Oh, okay. So they're probably like a late to dinner kind of Esper style deck, which means Suffocating Fumes is going to be like pretty decent against them. I'll pass. I'll make this thing smaller. I will Mole Drifter. The nice thing is, unless they're also playing Drifter, their deck is going to be a lot slower than mine. And I'm going to Priest, I think, and then just ship it. So we're going to start getting in chip shots with the Mole Drifter pretty soon, and obviously I can force in the damage because I'll just kill one of the birds and get a kind of like a 1 for 2 in a weird way. They're probably going to kill my Drifter, I guess. They're playing a lot of spot removal. Where's their card advantage? Oh, so they're playing Final Payment. Okay, sure. I'll just sack Drifter for a point. Yeah, I haven't played this matchup yet. Yeah, so this is a late to dinner style deck. This is where we just get our engine rolling and we're happy. Debating on where I want to go with this. I think probably where I want to do is I want to Withering the Horde, because that lets me start to get chip shot damage in, because this thing doesn't block. Oh, you have Momentary Blink. Well, let's chop that. Oh, you've got Momentary Blink. Okay, so I have to stop it from blinking the soul then. In that case, I cannot really do anything. I just have to attack for 2 and pass, because I always need to have Cruelty, which conveniently exiles it, so it's not coming back. And then we'll just pass. Okay, so now we're stable, and we've got about 15 more cards than my opponent. I have plenty of items, so let's draw a bunch. Let's see what we get. Great. Let's reset. Again. And sack for 2. And this is where our deck really starts turning the corner. And I think I'll just play another one of these. It's fine. If I need to, I'll start killing the flyers on this next turn, just because I don't see a lot to do with some of these cards. That's a good card to draw just to kill flyers. Actually, I should have drawn cards first because I have a Suffocating Fumes, but this is fine. I'm not going to reset the secrets quite yet. I don't see the need. And as you can see, we've just really swiftly turned the corner. My opponent really only has about 2 more turns, give or take. Okay, what's in our yard? We've got 2 Drifters. So I don't mind pulling up 2 Drifters here. As you can see, I do draw 30 cards a game. We're already 34 cards in. My opponent is only 19 cards in. Yeah, and that's game 1. Okay, so they're not a yard deck per se. So really, what do I need? Mire's Grasp is not great, because really what we want to do is we want to be killing off certain things. We do need Fumes. Fumes cycles. Trying to think about how we want to attack this. Negate is fine, but it's not great. I assume they're on late to dinner. Like, they've got a bunch of clunky cards, so what we want is Memory Leak. We don't want Moment of Craving, that's for sure. This new interface is weird. Here, let's pop this over here so I'm used to it. Withering is not really that great. We want things that actually just full kill the stuff. I don't like Libation, given that I didn't see Ill-Gotten Inheritance. Not that I think that Ill-Gotten Inheritance is good, but it's a card that you have to be aware of. I'll just play a Relic, I think. Is there anything that I don't really like here? I don't really like Priests, but I think they're probably necessary. And I need Cruelty, definitely. I'll keep Withering, I guess, for now. It's going to be interesting to see how they board. They should board out most of the removal and just try and, like, aggro me. We'll try this. I don't think this is quite optimal. I'm just not familiar with what my opponent has, and most of what you try to do with Dimir Snowball is have an insane board where you take out everything that you don't need. And it's very much a deck that has a learning curve as you figure out the format. So obviously I'll play the must come into play tap land first. It's possible that I run off a bunch of islands and this works, but probably not. I'm going to play this tap so that I have Seagate on turn 3. So my opponent doesn't have a lot of card advantage, it seems. It seems like my opponent's a tap-out control deck, which makes sense. It's not great to be in the other space right now as a non-tap-out control deck. Like, this doesn't really do much. So this is a variant on blue-white Blink, but it's just more complicated because you're playing a bunch of black cards that don't really work. Okay, so this thing evokes on 4. Good, that's what I needed to know. All right, so there's probably like late for dinner or something that I'm not aware of. So if my opponent late for dinners, then I Suffocating Fumes them. I don't really want to Fumes them right now. So I'm just going to play 2 of these and attack for 1. As I've noted on other occasions, every point of damage in this deck makes a difference because you have Lamp Pad, and it's just generally a good thing to be on. Perfect. So we've got Fumes. We drew this up correctly. That's good. If they've got another late for dinner, they've got another late for dinner. I don't have 4 Snowlands, so let's play 1 and then Snowland it up. And then crack in for 1. Okay, so they're a late for dinner deck. Fair enough. They've got a slightly different build with blue-black, which, yeah, okay. That's what it is. I can always redraw the Fumes, which I will. I'm also going to do this, and we're going to start axing away at their graveyard because we cannot tolerate them being late to dinner. This thing flies. Oh, I can't own it. This is only as a sorcery. I should have killed this first, but I don't want to. I want to take 2 damage. I think it's better. And then after taking the 2, because I get to hold these 2 off with the Drifter, assuming they don't kill it, and then I will next turn kill it, and then Relic will be what holds it in the graveyard. I just don't want to have to deal with another late to dinner, which is another new card that we have to deal with in this format, which is good. Like, I think late to dinner is an interesting card. The food is not at all relevant in this matchup. Does my opponent still have removal in, and what type of removal? Angelic Purge. Interesting. Okay, so, they're a Purge deck because of that. And you didn't attack with Soul. Huh. Alright, well, I'm going to kill the Soul, just so I don't get into Blink Wars. Foreign Death. That's a little annoying, but that's fine. So what we're going to do is, this doesn't quite work the way they want it to. So now I'm going to exile the yards. It does kill my Relic, but that's fine. Then we're just going to Drifter it and play a land and attack for 1, and we are good again. And look, a deck that Relic works well against. So I'm going to bring in more Relics if we play a game 3. I wasn't quite sure they were on late to dinner, but I probably should have suspected given Soul of the Migration. Plays like that often. All right, I'm not gonna attack. Actually, no, wait. I'm gonna kill other things and then I'm gonna attack. Sorry, what am I thinking? And as I've commented recently, this format is really defined by the fact you can just do whatever the heck you want in terms of your board, and there's nothing that really punishes you for going super wide. So if I'm going super wide first, I might as well. Okay, so my opponent is on drifters. I'm just going to draw a card, and then I'm going to kill the drifter, and we're going to keep going. This is perfect. I'll just draw a bunch of cards now. And I'm going to spend this, I think. It's a little more valuable to keep this in hand for instant speed blink, anti-blink plays. So that's our plan there. We do get punished by late to dinner, but that's life. And I don't think I'm really worried about that. They don't have white up. They tapped a little weirdly. So because of that, I think I'm just going to kill this, I guess. And then we'll just see where it goes. All right, so you've got negate. That's fine. So I'm bricking a little bit here, but that's fine. We're still putting them on a nice 2-turn clock, but they obviously have another turn stored up in food, but that takes a ton of their mana to do so. Okay, so we're on 33, they're on 38. So they're much closer in card parity here. Before we were 15 cards ahead, now we're only 5 cards ahead. That's fine, we don't care about that. Cloudkin, sure. Yeah, that was a good set of draws for them. I'm going to memory leak them and see what they're cooking with, as they're currently winning a little bit in the card race. Interestingly, brought in negates. I don't actually have that many useful cards, so to speak. So I'm just going to exile that. So I have to play against a bunch of different things here, which is very annoying. I think there's nothing I can really do, and I just have to attack in because there's no real cost to me to do this. Sure, you're going to spend a card to kill one of my guys effectively. I can kill your guy in response, but you just have so much stuff. I don't think it might be worth it. I'm trying to think. Is this worth it here? Or is this worth it more as another card? How much is my Seagate Oracle worth? My Seagate Oracle is not worth anything. I'd rather pull the trigger on Fumes because they don't know about it in response to Foreign Death. Alright, so now they actually have to choose some real stuff. And they're probably going to choose like I don't have any drifters, so it's probably like secrets, and yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So they can't attack because they're losing the race right now. Maybe they can actually. They probably could attack there. Alright, that was a great draw. Gets us back in the game here. And that's why we are called Snowball. I don't really need cruelty, so I'd rather just keep snowballing here because I've got Lampad as my secret weapon. Perfect. I'm going to get my drifter killed, I think. And you're going to Foreign Death, and I'm going to kill it. Okay. I don't really want to let you do that, so I'd rather do it this way. Oh, you get to do this. Okay. So this means I just traded my Suffocating Fumes in exchange for you hear something on watch, which is a perfectly reasonable trade for me here. Because this next turn, we're just on all business. I'll take 6. I don't really care about the damage here. And then you can't block. So We'll wander for Drifter plus Cloudkin, just to put more guys in the air. Then Drifter. They do have the food to go up to 15, but it's definitely a game where we're in the driver's seat here. Not Cloudkin. And I will rebuy. I have 3 of them in play. I'm going to rebuy Secrets because I just need like sheer raw card advantage here. And I'm going to send, I guess I'll send 2 of these. I'm going to have to use all my mana, so I'm going to send 2 of these. And then I'm going to play Lampad, which is like a little annoying to overcommit the Lampad early. But because of mana issues, and I'm going to be using all of my mana probably in the next 3 turns, I just need Lampad in play. So my opponent is upkeep scrying 1 to the bottom. So I can still take a bit of damage. My opponent has no direct damage, and I've got good flyers. I'm going to take the Digraph Horde if it attacks, because I'd rather be getting in my own damage. Yeah, they're not attacking. That's fine. So I think I just send in the air here. Actually, wait, I should draw first, and then if I kill this thing, I kill this thing, which I don't. Do I want a memory leak? Like, how valuable is this card? I think the answer is I should just attack. And this is where memory leak is really valuable as a cycling card. Okay. We trade. We keep developing our board. I continue developing my board. I've got 1 million lands, so many lands. I'm going to put a cap on their graveyard, just so nothing weird happens, and I think that's it. We're on 17 cards in our library and 6 lands in hand, so we are ready. Probably going to cycle memory leak. Okay, so they don't have anything there. I think just cycling it is the correct move. Perfect. All right, let's draw some cards. We're just trying to remove Digraph Horde if we can. Okay, do we want to pull the trigger on Horde? I think we do. Worst that can happen is they blink it. Okay, they blink it. And that tells us just where we're at in terms of everything. So we're at 12 cards in library. Great. All right, they remove some stuff. We don't really care. So they can send a lot of things across at us, which is one thing we should be aware of. Sure, they're stopping our things. That's fine. We need an untapped land, so we'll just play a swamp. We'll attack for 4, because 4 makes it lethal next turn. And I'm going to play 1 more of this, and then I'm going to pass and discard probably the Ice Tunnel. Yep. So we've got Fumes. Short of some ridiculous combination of cards, we're probably okay here. Yeah, so I definitely want relics against this deck in future because it cuts off the flashback of Blink, it cuts off Late to Dinner, it just generally interferes with a lot of stuff. I think that adding black didn't really add a lot to this deck. If you look at what it's playing Foreign Death as its main thing. I'd rather have, well, that's a decent card. It's not going to do anything here, but it's a decent card. 1 minute, you didn't, oh, you're 1 mana short of full casting it, okay. Oh, my turn. In that case, I'm just going to zap you, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Yep. All right, good game. I think that's a fairly likely result given everything, just because Late to Dinner is not especially well placed against Dimir Snowball. Dimir Snowball is better at going wider. You need to go as wide as the blue-white Blink decks, which I believe I have some videos on from the past. And they can just go where the board just gets insanely small and you've got 20 or 30 creatures. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll try to start recording a little bit more. That's all for now.